CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
Hello wrestling fans and sports collectors, this is Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza. Today we're counting down the top 5 highest prices paid recently for eBay auctions of professional wrestling posters. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We feature collectibles from the 80s and 90s with a strong focus on the golden age of professional wrestling. If you've been here before, welcome back. I appreciate the support. Be sure to stay tuned for number 1. I will compare this week's top sale to the highest price paid way back in September of 2024. I also have an interesting story to share about how the image on the poster compares to that on the Coliseum VHS of the WWF event. You won't want to miss that interesting fact. If you like this content, please make sure you hit the thumbs up and also find links in the show notes to my Patreon, the CollectAWrestlePalooza website, and the eBay store. Even better, hit the subscribe button to get awesome collecting content in your feed. I post new videos every Friday night. It's free to subscribe and helps me out more than you know. So let's get to the countdown, but before we do, let's review the criteria for this top 5 list. 1. I only include eBay auctions. eBay is the largest auction house there is, and I feel like auctions are true representations of the wrestling collectible market. 2. I only include items that come up using the search term wrestling poster. And 3. I am not including autographed posters because if I did, that would dominate the top 5, and most of the premium would be due to the signature. I want to highlight posters that are valuable due to their existence alone. Coming in at number 5 is an original poster from the golden age of Florida Championship Wrestling that sold at auction for $255. You're going to notice a trend with today's top 5. They almost all feature one superstar in particular. I'll let you guess who. This poster features a match between two goats, Dusty Rhodes and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. This is back from the territory days, and as you can see from the photo, Dusty was champ. Flair had legendary feuds with Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, and Rick Steamboat early in his title runs. Of note as well, on this poster, Sweet Brown Sugar is the superstar who would later become Coco Beware, and Brian Blair would become one half of the Killer Bees in the WWF. Further down the card, notice a tag team match featuring the late great David Von Erich from the legendary Von Erich family. He wrestled in Florida in 1981 and 1982. During the period, Ric Flair won his first world title from none other than Dusty Rhodes. This poster is special and unique for those reasons. Coming in at number 4 is another poster from the Golden Age, this one from the Philadelphia area, but also featuring the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, but this time in a top-billed main event against Ken Patera. This event is likely from the late 70s or early 80s when the two feuded. Notice Ken Patera is listed first as he may be the top billing at this time. Believe it or not, Dusty Rhodes started wrestling for Vince McMahon Sr.'s WWWF, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, all the way back in 1977. This card likely took place during that run. The poster is attractive and still bright with a fluorescent orange background. It's for these reasons that it sold at auction for $290. Poster number 3 also features Dusty Rhodes, but further down on the billing. It's an original 1990 WWF poster that sold at auction for $482. Viewers, take a moment and look at this poster. Why is it special? I'll pause so you can take a look and venture a guess. In my opinion, this particular poster is unique because it features a tag team match between the two most popular teams of the time who almost never battled each other. Vince McMahon has been widely criticized for how he used the Legion of Doom in the WWF. The audience was ripe for a Demolition versus Road Warriors run, but we never got it. Instead, random house shows here and there, but they never wrestled on a major pay-per-view and left us instead with a number of what-ifs. This poster shows fans that Smash and Crush did battle Hawk and Animal. Does much footage of those house shows exist? Viewers, let us know. I'm sure others would also love to see that dream matchup on video. I knew a few videos that are on YouTube show Demolition losing to LOD, but I don't know how many matches exist or what that feud looked like. Coming in at number 2 is one of only 2 posters in this top 5 that doesn't feature a match with Dusty Rhodes, an amazing 1990 NWA event poster featuring Lex Luger that sold for $497 at auction. There is a reason this poster is special. Notice who Lex Luger is pitted against for the US title. Mean Mark Callous, a tall redhead with pale skin who would later wrestle in the WWF as the Undertaker. Mark Calloway wrestled in the NWA, WCW, and World Class before making his premiere as Ted DiBiase's mystery partner during the Survivor Series in the WWF. Famously, one of his first televised matches was against the great Bruiser Brody as Texas Red in World Class Championship Wrestling. Mark, a rookie, started suggesting to Brody what moves they should perform on each other, which is referred to as calling the match. Brody, a wily veteran, did not take kindly to such a cocky move and broke a wooden chair on Mark's back. This poster also features 2 other WWE Hall of Famers who also wrestled in World Class Championship Wrestling, the hardcore legends Cactus Jack, otherwise known as Mick Foley, and Abdullah the Butcher. And poster number 1 is actually a sale of 2 posters, both featuring the GOAT, Hulk Hogan, against Hall of Famer and the original King of Wrestling, Harley Race. These posters are from the prime of the golden age of WWF. WrestleMania 3 had just happened a year prior, and Hulkamania was running wild in 1988. For that reason, these posters sold for $787 at auction. They feature headshots of a who's who from the Federation at the time, Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, and the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, as well as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man, and the best storyteller on the mic, Jake the Snake Roberts. You know the card is good if the bottom of the bill features Hall of Famers like Greg the Hammer Valentine, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Coco Beware. And now let's go back to September of 2024 and see what the highest auction price was at that time for a pro wrestling poster. Number 1 back then was an amazing and rare WrestleMania 5 poster advertising the closed circuit presentation of the event. Okay, so here's the fun fact. Look at the caricatures of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Of course, the Golden Goose Hogan's 24-inch biceps are on full display here, compared to Randy Savage's arms, which are much smaller. Now, look at the VHS cover of the same event. I learned recently that Vince McMahon blew a gasket when he saw the VHS cover. Randy Savage's photo is bigger, and the VHS cover only shows Macho Man's flexed arm. And that does it for this week. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and leave a comment below. Which poster's your favorite? We'll see you next week for another edition of CollectAWrestlePalooza.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.